Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with a brand new early movie review, and today we're discussing the new supernatural thriller directed by the one, the only M. Night Shyamalan, the man with all the plot twists. We're talking about his new film, Old, which I got a chance to check out early, courtesy of Universal, and I'm really excited to talk about the film and let you know if it's worth checking out all in this spoiler-free review. But before we break it all down, do me a favor and check me out on all my other social media accounts. If you all are new to the channel, well, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell. That way you can get the alert from when I drop new content. If you all enjoyed my spoiler-free review of the new film, Old, well, let me know by liking the video, sharing the video. It helps out the channel a lot, but also appreciate the support. And in the comments, for all my M. Night fans, horror fans, supernatural thriller fans, let's talk about this film, Old. Number one, were you excited for it? What were your thoughts when you saw the trailer? What was your expectation levels going into the movie? And once you've seen the movie, what'd you think? Let's talk about your pros, your cons. Did the premise live up to the idea? Did it live up to the hype of what the trailer and the synopsis reads? What did you think of the performances? What did you think of things that didn't work for you as far as the twists? We all know M. Night have twists. Did you enjoy the twist in this film? And also, since we're talking M. Night, what is your favorite M. Night Shyamalan film? Let me know in the comments. Let's discuss it all in the comments section. So for me, going into Old, I gotta say my expectations were kind of right in the middle. Now, personally, I'm in a good spot with the writer, director, storyteller, M. Night Shyamalan, because his whole renaissance for me, he got back into what made him a great storyteller with a film like Visit. My personal favorite is Split. And then even Glass, I know it's a mixed bag for people. I enjoyed it for what it's worth, but I know the criticisms with that movie. But for me, the thing that really makes me like, okay, M. Night's getting back into the thick of things. He has a TV show that he's a writer, producer, director on by the name of Servant, which is on Apple TV Plus, has 2 seasons, really good thriller suspense, really recommend that show. But I'm in a good spot. So I'm liking what he's giving me on the film and TV side. I'm loving the trailer from this film. I love the cast. I love the premise. What did I think about it? Starting off with my pros, let's go back to that premise. Again, not giving too much away. It's in the synopsis, it's in the trailer, but the basic premise of this film is you have a group of people from all walks of life who are going on the resort for a vacation. They're recommended by the management of this resort to go and, spend some time, some quiet family moments on a secluded part of the island on this private beach. And on this beach, all of our different characters find out that they are aging at a rapid pace. And throughout the film, they're trying to figure out what the hell is going on with our bodies. Why is my 6-year-old now a 15-year-old, and so on and so forth. So it's within that premise to me that kept me really engaged, really trying to see what is going on, why is this happening, but it's even taken away all that mystery element. What I took away from the movie, which I really enjoyed about the premise, was the concept of time is so fascinating for me personally. That's why I probably love a lot of supernatural, time-bending, sci-fi type of movies, is because when you think of time, and how much time we waste on being upset, being sad, being in our feelings, and not appreciating the things that are surrounding us, right? We're always either looking ahead or looking behind, but not really appreciating what's in front of us. And that's something that the film, at points, does a really good job of shining a light on that premise of, again, not overlooking your loved ones, not underappreciating the opportunities and the things you have in front of you, and appreciating the time you have. And it's something that I really enjoyed through various characters in this film. And particularly, we have our main family where there's a husband and a wife that are kind of having a shaky part of their relationship. They have their 2 kids. They're going on this vacation to kind of have this maybe final vacation as a family. And it's within the film as that particular family starts to realize, wow, I really have something special with my family. And it's something like that in the film that really kind of stood out to me. There's other various characters that have this moment where it's just like, wow, I should really appreciate what I have. So I think at the heart, the thing that I pulled away from this film is just really appreciating what you have and appreciating the time you have. So that's something I appreciated. In regards to the performances, this is a stacked cast, and regardless of what you think about M. Night Shyamalan, he always puts together a really good cast, and I thought that this was one of his finer casts. Unfortunately, some of the characters aren't really used properly, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I have to say, out of all the cast members, I was really excited to see Alex Wolff. I'm a big fan of his. I love Eliza Scanlen. I'm a big fan of Thomasin McKenzie. And those 3 up-and-coming actors, they did the best they could. They were interesting characters. They were the kids of the group, and we see them kind of age up. And I like Alex's Wolff trying to, all the characters are playing younger versions of themselves. So I thought that they did a good job on what they were given. But I have to say, even out of that entire cast, and there's some really good cast members, I have to say that Rufus Sewell, to me, was the most interesting character. He goes by a name, his character goes by the name of Charles. He's a doctor, and he has some really interesting moments in his film, and to me, he was the only one that really kind of fit within the film's narrative that they were trying to tell, and he had some really interesting moments. So out of the entire ensemble cast, I have to say Charles was probably the most interesting character for me personally. Going to some other pros that I have for the film, M. Night has a really quirky sense of humor and like a real kind of awkward sense of humor, and if you can see that in all his films and even on Servant. But I have to say there was a joke that I thought was very funny, and when you see the film, you know what I'm talking about. But let's just say certain demographics age differently than other demographics, and there's a joke in the film that I thought was hilarious and perfectly placed, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. So those are my main pros, ladies and gentlemen. I have to transition into my criticism. I don't want to turn this into a rant, and I don't want to sound over, negative about this film, but I just got to say it. This movie didn't work for me on so many levels. Again, I really enjoyed the premise. I thought that there was a lot to kind of play within the realm of time and why these characters are there, and really kind of understanding who these characters were. But we don't spend time, all pun intended, to really care for these characters. I mentioned there's a lot of different families, and there's a lot of different things that are going on. They all have their own negative things going on in their lives that brings them to this island. But I have to say, man, I did not care for a lot of these characters, and that's really kind of sucks, because you're supposed to be caring for these characters to get off this beach and figure out why this is going on with them. But I just did not give a damn, and it's not due to the performances. It's due to my man M. Night Shyamalan. He's his worst enemy sometimes, for me personally. I thought that he really rolled himself into a corner to really playing within his idea of time and appreciating time, but not appreciating the time that he has with these actors, because I feel like they were wasted performances. Thomasin McKenzie, Alex Wolff, Eliza Scanlen, the main parents in the film, I just didn't feel like we spent time with them to really understand and care for them making it off this island. Also, when it comes to this film's narrative and the logic of this island, there's a lot of plot holes. Without getting too much into it, but if our characters are younger and they're aging at a rapid pace, the film tries to show you that their mind is also aging. Like if we have a 6-year-old that's now turned into a 15-year-old, he's having the thought mannerisms, the thought process. He's now at a 15-year-old age gap, but he really, at times, the film plays into the logic where they're dumb and they're smart and they're kids, but they're adults. And it's just, the logic of this film to me was just kind of all over the place. And there are some really, just speaking to the production of the film, this is probably one of M. Night's bigger films as far as like scope and scale, because he shoots a lot of his movies in Philadelphia, and this is like, I think, his first film not shot in his hometown, Philadelphia. There was some really bad visual effects in this film, from the way that the characters will look up, and you can tell there's a green screen. There's a couple scenes where there's like gruesome body twisting moments that I thought was like really terribly performed by a particular actress. And also, I don't want to call any of the actors out, and I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think it's the direction, the story they're given. But there are some really awkward acting beats in this film to me, where I felt like the actors were like over the top and like playing like old Hollywood style. It was just really awkward moments within the cast, and just the line delivery, and it's a mixture of bad storytelling, bad direction, bad writing. But I have to put some blame on some of these very seasoned veteran good actors, where it was just like really bad beats in the acting department. And it really reminded me a lot of these characters, the way that they would deliver some of their lines. And again, M. Night tries to throw in humor sometimes, like awkward humor. This film is a mixture of The Happening meets Lady in the Water with the sensibilities and how things are conveyed to the audience. And I don't want to give reasons why, but when you see the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. When we get to the beach, there was just so many moments where it's just like, why are we separating? Where has this character been for the last 20 minutes? Why is this character doing what they're doing? Why do we not know why a certain character is doing what they're doing? There's so many plot holes and why is this happening, that it just, to me, at the end of the day, it didn't work on so many levels. And I'm not going to give away the twist, but when we finally get to the conclusion, the climax of the film, boy, was that so underwhelming. It's a man, obviously I don't want to give it away, but when we get to that ending, when you find out why they are in the position they're in and why all of them are all on the beach and all that, it's just like, wow, this is what we thought was clever. I know this film is inspired by a graphic novel called Sandcastle. I don't know if it follows the ending of that book or that graphic novel, but this isn't in the Lady in the Water or the Village territory of bad twist endings, but this is one of his worst twist endings for me personally. And now I'm thinking about it, this might be up there for me, guys. This might be my second least favorite twist by M. Night. And that's the thing with M. Night, man. I just wish he would get out of that sandbox that he has to have a twist ending with all his films, because I think he relies so heavily of this. Like, if you're a comedian, you have the punchline, and I don't think the punchline sticks. It falls flat on deaf ears for me personally. So I don't want to go into more of why I didn't enjoy this film, because I'll probably dive into the spoiler territory. But at the end of the day, I didn't care for the characters. There's a lot of plot holes. There's some really wacky performances, some really bad dialogue, some really bad direction, and I really did not care for the characters. So with all that being said, before I give you my overall score and let you know if I think it's worth checking out, if you haven't already, like, share, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Overall, Old has a really awesome premise. It has some really good moments when it comes to when the characters are having the time to express what it means to be in the moment with their loved ones. That's when I think the film was at its best, but we unfortunately have a bunch of nonsense going on in between there. Some lackluster performances, some really bad writing, and a twist that is just makes you just wish you would have got 2 hours of your own time back. So with all that being said, I'm going to give M. Night Shyamalan's new supernatural thriller a 2 out of 5. And when it comes to do I recommend you all seeing this in theaters, I'm not one to tell you how you spend your money, but I would say that there's some other things you could probably do with your own time than see this in theaters. And hey, take that as you will. That's just my thoughts, but I want to know what you all thought of it. If you took the time to see the film, I keep saying time, it is intended for me to use that pun there because this film is all about time. Let me know what you thought of it, your pros, your cons. Are you more on the lines of me where you think this is one of his worst films? It's not his worst. I still have Airbender, After Earth, Lady in the Water, and Happening below that, but it's right in that kind of category as far as, bottom of the barrel for me. But I'm still an M. Night fan. I look forward to Servant Season 3, and I look forward to whatever he does next, but this was not a film for me. But it's just my thoughts. But again, once you all saw it, let me know what you all thought. If you stuck around to the end of this review, I appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't already, make sure to like, share, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell. That way you don't miss any of my other reviews. Like I said, my favorite M. Night film is Split. Let me know yours in the comments. And I hope you all had a good time watching this review, because I had a better time reviewing this than I did watching. I'll just say that. So with all that being said, guys, hope you all are staying safe. We'll see you on the next video.